Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central, and here's your host, Bob Hickey.
And welcome to another great episode of Foxborough Central. I am Bob Hickey, I am your host, and I am very pleased that you took the time to join me and my guests as we talk about the people, events, and organizations that make Foxborough the gem of Norfolk County. And today I am very pleased and honored to be joined by a couple of volunteer board members who are with the brand new Partners in Patriotism Fund. And perhaps you've read about it. I'm sure you've seen the newsletters that have been appearing on a quarterly basis these last few months in your mailbox from the Partners in Patriotism Fund. It's been advertised in it. It's from the New England Patriots and the Patriot Place, and just a general publicity piece that comes out and lets the community know what's going on up on Route 1 with our major partners, the Kraft family, the Kraft organization, New England Patriots, Patriots Place, New England Revolution, and everything that is going on up on Route 1. But today we're going to talk about the Partners in Patriotism Fund, which, as we know, or perhaps we don't know, and we are going to know now, is a, I don't know much about it, so I'm going to just kind of blunder in. It's a charitable arm of the Kraft family, and it is donating a set amount of money every year to essentially Foxborough for good work, nonprofits, individuals who need help. But I don't know much about it, but I bet in the next half hour we're going to learn all about it. I'm joined today by my newest friends, Livia.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, Livia Binks and Jimmy McAllen, who is the chairman of the Partners in Patriotism Fund, and it's a volunteer board.
Yes, it is.
And how did we get on here?
The Patriots organization, through one of the newsletters, put out outreach to Foxborough residents to apply for the board, and I believe we had over 60 applicants, and the Kraft organization vetted through the process of whittling down the group to 13 members, which we have now, and they went through a little longer process than I think they thought it was going to be. They were very pleased by the number of people that volunteered.
Sure.
And got to this number of 13 people that are on the board now.
Well, Foxborough is known for its volunteerism, and a lot of the things that happen here is done on the backs of its volunteers. So it's no surprise that many people wanted to volunteer to be on the board. So, Olivia, how did you get to be on the board?
Applied, like my fellow board members, and I think what was great is, as we've all been talking, we had a common theme of continuing to further the charitable goodness that we see in our community, but we all had slightly different motivations. I've lived here 8 years, work, have small children, and found it as a great opportunity that I could start to get more involved, because love what I see in the community. Other folks are already deeply involved, but it was yet another way that they could give back. And even additional board members were really moved by Sam Burns and what the community did to rally around the family, and what the community does to rally around folks every single day. So we all had similar but slightly different reasons that we chose to apply, and we were all really thrilled to be accepted. And can I just say, it was incredible to walk into that first meeting, and it's folks that you may have seen before, but we don't really know each other, but yet we were all joined by a common thread of wanting to give back and help.
Sure. And it's interesting you mentioned Sam Burns, because Sam was such a, we'll call him the face of Foxborough these last few years with his battle, and of course his parents with his battle with progeria disease, which finally took his life, and the dedication of the turf field up at the schools, and you're with the school system, and so there's a connection there, but also his connection late in life with the Patriots, and he created a friendship, a bond with Mr. Kraft, and he made a large donation to the field and to progeria, and appeared, I think, on the Ellen Show, and very much a part of what the Patriots are for what they mean to our community. And so this sort of seems as though it's the next step, although this was planned well before that, but it all seems to be coming together at the same time. So, Jimmy, I guess the question now is, what is it exactly that you're trying to accomplish?
The fund is going to be $100,000 per year. The Kraft organization,
$100,000
per year, and the Kraft organization is given this basically to the board and said, find things in the Fox community where it can be used the best way you can find it, the best way you can do it. And we're looking for people in need, whether it be groups or down to individuals and everything in between. There's one little theme in the beginning is there's no such thing as a bad application. We're going to look at everything. And we said $100,000 seems like a lot of money, but there is a lot of need, and there's a lot of different things out there we can use this money for. And I think Mr. Kraft wanted to look at members of the community would know the best where to spend this money. I think in the past people have gone up and asked patriots for different donations for different things, but some people may have not known the process or aware what the process would be. Now we're going to go out, we're going to outreach into the community and try to go to churches, to schools, to individuals, or to organizations, say, there's money for Foxborough people. The crafts are generally donated to the town. We have a nice thing, being 13 people in town, here's $100,000 and spend it the best way you say fit for people in Foxborough. So it's sort of great.
Well, I think it's very impressive that there's a formal process and a system now set up, because you're right, over the years, and I know firsthand that the craft organization has been very generous in many ways. Something very small, but to me very meaningful. There's an Eagle Scout project down at the Camp St. Augustine, and they needed some flagpoles, and the craft organization had flagpoles, and so they donated the flagpoles. And it's one of those things where you don't even think about where do you get this from or where does it come from, but they are part of so many different things that go on, from youth football to many of the behind-the-scenes support, and they've been supporters of Foxborough Cable Access, by the way, and so. We've experienced firsthand some opportunities, and not financial, by the way. It's just one of those things where it's a good partnership, and it's great to have them in our community. So to have this board established and have a formal way, and plus, $100,000 seems like a rather large amount of money for our community. And this is something that has to be spent?
It does.
So it's a donation from Bob Kraft and the Kraft family.
It
has to be spent.
Has to be spent.
Not an option.
Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't you love
board,
that in real life?
Well, I'm hoping this is real life.
Personally, so in the calendar year, the $100,000 must be spent. And Mr. Kraft has also generously, because in a way we started mid-year, offered up an additional $25,000 to be spent before the end of this year. So because this was just established, we just came together as a board, and we've literally started from scratch. What should the application say? What is our mission statement? What are we trying to do, right? And furthering those, kind of that charitable outreach and spirit in the community. First go round. And seeing what we get.
Isn't it true you've been told exactly what to do and who to do it with?
Yes. Yes, sir. Jimmy's running the show.
Sir, is it true that anybody can apply for these?
Anyone can apply for this. And as we said, as I mentioned earlier, there's no bad applications. We want to outreach to everybody. And groups from scout organizations to church organizations, possibly to sports organizations, down to individuals that are in need, and everything in between. And as I said, we have to spend $25,000 of this money before December 31st. So with the holidays coming up and those type of things, I'm sure there's going to be places to spend it. But we just want to get the word out and get the applications out and spread the money the best we can.
That was my very bad McNeil Lehrer imitation, so my apologies. Didn't mean to startle anybody, particularly you at home who are used to seeing the Sunny Bob. So let's talk about applications. And of course, I'm talking with Olivia Banks and Jimmy McGowan, who are with the Partners in Patriotism Fund. And we're talking about the phenomenal opportunity that's been given to Foxborough by Robert Kraft and the Kraft family to essentially fund many, many things that we don't even know about yet. But how will we find out? There's an application process. And it's a hard copy application, correct?
Hard copy and electronic copy as well.
And electronic copies. So a person could go on to, and I'll read the website off, and I'm sure you see it on your screen because you can read much better than I can read. www.gilletstadium.com/Partners in Patriotism. So you go to that website and you can get a link to the application, or you can stop off, and it's at many places around town. It is
several places around town. So first, the mailers will be appearing in late October in all Foxborough residents' mailboxes. So the one you had referenced that's coming out quarterly. It will be in there. You could also go to Town Hall, Public Safety Building, the Boyden Library, as well as the Senior Center.
Okay.
And through word of mouth with your show, Foxborough Reporter, really want to get word out.
Well,
so
there is a
people
buzz
know.
going on. I've heard about it in other places. So although I know that my show, Foxborough Central, is the primary way that most of us get our news, it is going around, and there's been some excitement about this.
Yeah, it is exciting, and I think that it's the big and the little. I love the poll reference that you just mentioned, right? People have passions and initiatives that they're trying to do, and sometimes you just need that little extra bump, and really it helps to then further and better the community.
Mm-hmm.
And it, you would think, oh, big, small scouts. Or something like what we saw with Sam, right? I mean, and it all fosters and builds and deepens the community. And I think that's what this is all about. Is we all see it every day and we feel it. And Mr. Kraft also feels it and sees it, and he wanted to help push it further. And it's almost like a pay it forward for all of us who are involved, and hopefully all of us who will see it around us every day.
That's a great way of putting it, to pay it forward. And I suppose that's why many of us volunteer in the different ways that we do. And you had mentioned volunteering with this charitable board of directors. Is that what we're going to call it? So you're volunteering on the board of directors of the Partners in Patriotism Fund. And this seems like there's a bit of a time commitment. It seems like you've done some research. You had to create your own mission statement, if you will. What is the commitment that you're doing? Because personally you're giving. And so what is the bring back from that? What is the commitment? What's going on? Tell us what is exactly this board. 13 members, made up of Foxborough citizens.
All Foxborough residents from all different walks of life, and that was one of the keys when the board was put together. There's from young to old, retirees, active workers, people who've lived in town their whole lives, people that have moved to town recently, and I think that was the goal of the Kraft organization when they put this group together looking at applicants. And we went in that room the first night, and there were 13 people, and you'd have heard of this person, you might know this person a little bit. Personally, I knew 2 people that I had really known before. The other 10 people, you've heard names in town, you'll see them, they volunteered somewhere else in town or involved in JCs or involved in something else. You've seen the name on the paper, but you really didn't know them. And it was a great cross-section of people, and that was the nice thing that we saw at the first meeting of all these different people, all with same motivation, coming from all different backgrounds. And I think that's what they wanted. They didn't want to concentrate on a specific neighborhood in town, although that North Street, B Street area is impacted by the stadium a lot. We have members from that area, but that wasn't what the group was made up of. There were people from all over town, from all different walks of life, with all different backgrounds, and had done different things in different charitable organizations. So it was a great mix of people that put the board together. And we're all there for the same reason. There's a time commitment, but it's most of it's time to give back. I mean, personally, this town's been great to me and my family my whole life. And some time now, now I have time to do it and to give back. And and you give back in all different ways. And that was a nice opportunity for me to be able to do that.
Well, that's great. And I suppose the overriding theme here is one of positive giving back. And so as you're giving your time, you now have this opportunity from the Kraft family to really give back to the community. And it seems like, I'm sitting here trying to envision, how do you just give away $125,000? And it seems rather difficult in my mind. So what is the process? What is your mindset? What do you think is going to happen over the next, really only the next quarter, because you have to regenerate and recycle and start the next calendar year?
Well, I think, Jimmy had mentioned no bad application. So open mind. What are we going to get? We're not sure. We've talked about that as a board in our first couple meetings, the kind of what if scenarios. And we're like, well actually, we're not really sure what's going to come in. So I think first and foremost, getting the word out, seeing what comes in. We've got the $25,000. We have an underlying premise of, helping to better the community. That's a pretty broad premise, though. It doesn't have to be something that physically benefits the community. It could be something that just helps to make the community stronger. And sometimes that's helping individuals around you, and that can benefit the larger neighborhood and therefore the larger community. So, we've got the application process. I think we've, as a board, done a great job of making sure we capture the essential information, not just how much and what it is you're doing, but the why. And why it's also going to help to strengthen the great community that we have. And so, we'll be getting back together in the next couple weeks as we start to see those first applications come through, literally lay them all out and see what we have. In the time period. And I think, one of the other things we talked about is this is also a great opportunity for us to make connections. Mm-hmm. So even if there's something that doesn't quite fit within, this process that we've set up, there's also great other ways that we can make connections within the community that might be, hey, somebody else might be able to help out this individual or this organization. And so I think that could also be a springboard for us as well, because, we're a small community. Yep.
And Foxborough is truly blessed. Going into this whole process, we have a wonderful discretionary fund, which has been a way to bring certain services and certain resources to individual community members who are in need. And then our food pantry and our Vicky Lowe and the social services and senior services. So we already have many things going for us, and this is I'll just say a pretty wonderful opportunity to really not only strengthen that, but create a whole new avenue of commitment and giving. Frankly, it's very rare these days to hear of a private business or an organization that is giving like this and in such a formal way. It's pretty remarkable, if you ask me, that this is happening. And it's just a really good, feel-good story. And I'm very pleased that you both came in to share the story with me, because this is something that it just feels good.
It does.
Feels good. So Jimmy, as the chair of this, how good are you going to feel when you get into the meetings and having to say no, having to say yes? How do you visualize this happening?
Hopefully there's a lot of yes, but hopefully there's enough applications that there are going to be some no's. But it's going to be nice to write that first check and to authorize the writing of that check. We're going to take the applications in, and we decided to take a process. Basically, every application we get, we're going to vet to a board member, and they'll sort of do their homework. So hopefully we'll have lots of applications, and with 13 members, we're going to rotate it around. Okay. They'll get the applications, get back in touch with the person who applied for any other details that may not be clear in the application, more details, and they'll bring that to the board meetings. And the board meetings will decide, that person will present and say, here was the application we got, here's what I found out, and then the board basically gets a majority type of vote, whether to, and how much, and to approve the application. And we also have emergency funds available. We have a way we can do this. Basically, we can do it now in the age of electronic media. So with email and everything else, an application comes up, something happened to a family on a weekend or something, and it's, we're meeting monthly now. It may become a little more spread out as we go down the road. We just, here's the application, here's what we got. What do you folks think? Get it out to people and, someone in need immediately. We're not going to wait for our next meeting is not till 8 weeks from now. So we have emergency procedures in place also to handle something that happens quickly. So we can do things all those ways.
Sounds like you have some real opportunity here to do good.
We do.
It's going to be very interesting around, well, first of all, it's an honor that Mr. Kraft and the Kraft family felt like the Foxborough residents were the ones who would best know and best understand how it could benefit the community. So I think that was a fantastic way to help structure it. And then I think, for us speaking on behalf of the board, it's also a great opportunity to learn from each other too, because we all have slightly different reasons why we're participating. We all have the common thread of, paying it forward. But as we start to get into this, I think there's also just the angle of listening to each other, understanding the different points of view, understanding part of the brilliance of having it made up of such a diverse group of residents. We all bring a different perspective of our community. And so I think that is going to be something also, it's not just a read the application, stamp, accept or denied. There's going to be a lot of passionate discussion about what's brought forth.
And I think one of the things that just occurred to me is how, I mentioned before, it's unique that a company just gives money, but that maybe that's not the totality of the uniqueness. I think part of it is that they're giving away control of the gifting. They're giving it to citizens who they don't necessarily have input with or have an ability to direct. So it's truly an independent way of giving the gift that's being given.
Exactly.
Which is
exactly
pretty interesting. It's pretty sharp.
Well, that was their whole idea. They thought the people in the community would know the needs of the community possibly more than they would. And that was sort of the philosophy as they wanted this also. Let's the people in the community will know the needs of the community maybe better. And that was nice to see.
Well, I would have to agree with that. And so, I'm here with Olivia Binks and Jimmy McGowan, and they are with the Partners in Patriotism Fund. We're talking about how you, as citizens of Foxborough, can learn about this, and if you have a need or you know somebody who has a need, make that need known to the Board of Directors and perhaps steer some of the phenomenal amount of money your way. There is an application process. They are available at Town Hall, the Public Safety Building, the Boyden Library, and the Senior Citizen, or you can log online to, I'm going to get this right, www.gillettetestadium.com/partners in patriotism, as partners-in-patriotism. So I'm going to give you the final word because we're so quickly running out of time,
Yes.
but the opportunity here seems fantastic. The ability of the craft organization to give back to Foxborough has been realized now with clear direction, clear organization, and a clear contribution in dollar figures. So that commitment to us here in town is a wonderful news story in and of itself, because we all know that Mr. Kraft and Meyer Kraft were very giving, and his son Jonathan and his family as a whole are very civic-minded, and so to bring it here to Foxborough and make it such a strong financial commitment to our town, that's a real positive message. So I'm going to give you two the final words. I'm going to go with Olivia first. I'm going to give him the last because he's the boss.
He is the boss.
As you pointed out.
Yes. What I would say is, first, thank you for having us on. This is great to spread the word, deepen the opportunity that we have. I actually have an ask of you as part of the close.
I will try.
Have us back. Let us talk about what we're seeing, what we're experiencing, and help that pay it forward by bringing to light some of the great opportunities that we've been able to help further. I think that would be fantastic. And that way we're spreading the word, not just of the monetary donation, but of the efforts and the causes that are around us, so people could also get involved and volunteer and pitch in and help.
For the commitment you're making in doing this, I will commit to you to do that. All right, so there we go. Handshake
Okay.
on that. Jimmy.
Apply. As I said, no applications are bad applications. It's going to be our motto to start. We have money to spend between now and December 31st. We know there are people out there in need, groups. The obvious ones are easy, but there's other people out there too we want to reach out to. So if you have friends, you have neighbors, you know people that are in need, please apply. And hopefully we're going to be able to vet this money out before the end of the year, $25,000 worth, and then $100,000 cycle starts again on January 1st. So there's $125,000 to spend between now and December 31st of next year. Applications, as we mentioned, will be out locally. Also, everyone will get the newsletter, hopefully by the end of October, in their mailbox, and please apply.
Partners in Patriotism Fund. You heard it here first on Foxborough Central a couple months back when Jeremy Smith and the wonderful Jess Stevenson came in and talked about it. You now see it live and in action with Jimmy and Olivia as they bring their story of goodness to Foxborough. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me, and thank you at home for taking the time to watch Foxborough Central as we talk about the good stuff that happens in Foxborough. If you'd like to be a member of Good Things, why not check out Foxborough Cable Access? You can log on at www.fcatv.org, where you can find this episode as well as all the other past episodes of Foxborough Central. But that's not enough. Why not become a volunteer? These good folks are volunteering. I'm a volunteer. You can too. Check us out. Come on down to our studios at 28 Central Street and learn about the volunteer opportunities here with local cable access. Until next time, folks, have a great one, Foxborough.